So my name is Pujan Mehta, and my alias is FNS, and I'm the in-game leader for Envy. So I'm gonna go over the B-bomb site first. It's just a lot easier, I guess. Actually, it doesn't really matter. Both sites are fine, but I'll start with B. So this trip is super good. That's the one I normally place if you watch any of my games. This one's pretty decent, but it gets broken pretty easily since people in B main usually hear it when they get close. They'll hear it right here. But unless they instantly try to, they have to like peek to break it, you know? So it's not that easy to break, but it is a decent trip. Everywhere except for like the highest possible level, I would say. I stopped doing this one for the simple fact that it was getting broken all the time. And then the most standard trips that you can do on this bomb site are probably right here, and either the one here or the one here. And one cool trip that some teams do that I think is super strong to stop a market split is this one, because you essentially can't break it unless you're in B main. The B main players have to break this for you. But for you to have to communicate, yo, break this trip for me, they can't really see it from here, so it is really hard for them to break it as well. Actually, no, they can't even break it from here unless they wall bang it. So it is really hard for them to know exactly like what trip they want you to break or whatever. So I would suggest doing something like this if you think they're going to do a market B split, and this makes it really hard for teams to split on you because he has to jump over this. So if you're playing a spot like this and he jumps over, it's a free kill for you. So that's a really good trip as well. But the most standard ones, like I said, are this one, and this one, and then you have cages here and here to stop stop any type of push into the site. But yeah, those are pretty decent ones for B. Now, as far as cameras go, you can probably do something like this, which kind of, you can see deep into B main, but it's also really good off angle. So if they're like slowly peeking into B, they won't expect the camera and you get a free ping off before they execute the site. And then the normal ones that are super strong are usually something like this. You can almost always get away with this cam, as long as you stay on it. Now, one key thing is you have to stay on it from the start of the round, because if you keep going in and out of it and he hears it, he can easily just break it, you know? They can just peek and break it really fast. So you ideally don't want the other team to know when or where the camera is, or they'll just break it really easily. The only best way to do that is to just stay on it for as long as possible. And don't move away from it. Don't just return it on and off and stuff like that. And then you can do a camera like this as well. Sorry. Something like this, because it is able to see market and feet in B main as well. So if you do something like this, it's really hard to spot the camera, especially because your eyes are trained on here and here, like spots that players are going to be at. So you don't really look for the camera, which makes it really easy to spot feet and call that they're coming into B before you kill them. One other good tip that I can give you guys is, as far as playing Cypher goes, it's really good if they don't know where your camera is, it's really good to just ping players. Like, oh, there's a guy here, watch out. There's a guy right here, he's walking in. Because if you ping them and you don't like hit them with the camera straight on, they won't be able to find it, right? You're making like, you're getting as much possible info as possible without having to tag them entirely. So tagging somebody makes it known where your camera is and they'll break it. So that's the only reason why. For mid, really, you can do any of these trips. 1, 2, or 3. All of these serve the same function really. All you have to do is put this trip down and then sometimes combo it with camera either here or up there, and you essentially are able to see all of mid. And you can even put a cage here if you want to play for mid, and as soon as they break this trip, you essentially wait for this trip to break, and the second it breaks, you camera on, you can ping somebody, and as they're trying to break the camera, you can peek with it. Okay. For the A-bomb site, it's pretty straightforward. The camera I personally like to throw, it's easily it's like a hard one to get down right away, but you just like, until you basically get on top of this thing on the edge, go as far up as you can before it stops, and then jump through it. And you're able to see feet, and it's really hard for people to see the camera itself, because in the POV you can't really see it, you know? You see it right here, and it's, unless somebody calms it for you or you look at radar that it showed up, you're not going to look for it. So it's a really good cam spot right there. Another good cam spot is something like this. because it's the same concept. You're able to see them, so when they cross to the other side, which a lot of players do, you get a free tag off. And then obviously anything like this is really strong as well. Anything like that, which you're able to see A main, or something like this is good as well. And then the trips for A are usually anything along the lines of this, this, and the most common one that you'll probably see is something like this. You know, and this one usually gets. I mean, at the end of the day, most teams shock dart this at a high level. So, one other tip I would give a Cypher is try to put trips where they are hard to shock, if that makes sense. Like, they're unlikely to be shocked, so they actually are used correctly. Because if you put a trip down like this, a super common one, and they know Cypher plays A, you're gonna end up just losing your trip, you know, for free. So either put your trips down really late in the round, but that's sometimes hard to do if they've progressed all the way up here or here. So it's definitely better to put trips that are like closer to you, so that way they're just impossible to, or it's really hard to read where your trips are, essentially. Make your trips like unreadable. This trip is also really good for catwalk because it's really hard for them to hear it until it's too late. So that's really good. And then there's another one, I think it's like somewhere here. Yeah, something like this is really good as well, because again, it's really hard to shoot and they don't hear it till it's too late as they're running through. And if you have a cage here as well and they run through the cage, they'll run right into the trip. It's a free kill. So yeah, yeah, that's Ascent for you. Really, most cam spots are pretty straightforward. I usually, if you watch any of my games, I'll usually have 2 or 3 really like standard cam spots that I'll show, but outside of that, I play Cypher pretty standard for the most part. I would say the best tip I can give as far as playing Cypher is just move around a lot. Don't play the same bomb site every single round, because he's a really easy agent to anti. Once you know where his trips and cages are, it's really easy, or especially when you know where his camera is, it's really easy to anti. So you want to move around as much as you can as this agent. So yeah, one other thing that you can do on Cypher on catwalk is with a trip like that, you can put a camera right there, and as long as you stay on your camera, if somebody walks up, you'll get an easy ping off, or, you know, if somebody's running up, you could easily get a ping off. But this is another camera that you have to stay on. You can't just go on and off, because if a player is here, he could easily hear your camera, and that makes it obvious what your play is or what you're doing. He knows that your trips are probably going to be around this area, and he knows Cypher is playing CAD now. So ideally, you don't want to like keep going on and off on any camera, like literally ever. You just want to keep it on. But if you get off, wait a while and jiggle the spot that you got off in case you get timing, and then get on it again. Don't just go on and off, on and off, on and off. So yeah. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys enjoy more videos like this, just please subscribe to the Predator Training Room and like the videos, and we'll be sure to give you more. Thank you.